Man, today's a crazy day. Monday, September 25th. I'm juggling 50 things at once. So first off, of course, the order of the day is to find a job, right? I still want to find a construction job. And I had a couple of interesting postings I noticed that where people actually don't require experience, but of course you have to go somewhere. You know, you have to relocate, you have to rent a room, or maybe go back here once a month or something. I don't know, but basically very big changes are about to happen because I'll just follow the money. But one of the jobs was in what was it, Edson, Alberta, 28 bucks an hour, like long shifts, but it's a log loader. You know, it's not like exactly a wheel loader, but it's a log loader, right? The one, basically your job is to load freshly cut trees into trucks. But I'm pretty sure I can do that. I don't know. So every day I'm sending, I don't know, 3, 5, whatever I find where I can qualify. I send out resumes, and I send the resume to that company that operates here, the construction company. Since I found out what their name is, I found them on the web and send them email with my resume. And also I reached out to, you know, the guy I work with, the freight broker, because he has some, you know, people over here, right? He lived in Alberta for a long time. I said, do you know anybody in construction? And he knows a guy who works as a supervisor. And so I said, would you mind sending them my resume? And so he sent the resume, and that supervisor came back with some feedback, how to change the resume to make it more attractive. And basically he said, remove the hours, because you know what I did on the resume, I right at the top there I said, you know, wheel loader experience and skills, and I put all the tasks that I did at the school, you know, like building a berm, building a fuel station, loading trucks, and then how many hours I spent doing that. And this guy says, don't do that, because that's like minimum hours, right? Like 10-15 hours doing one thing, then 5 hours doing another thing. He says, that's not going to impress anybody. Just remove the hours, just list the skills. And then he also said, what's missing from your resume, since you were a trucker for so many years, you definitely know how to do a pre-trip inspection. And he says, everybody now is very safety cautious. And he says, each job you did, just add conducted pre-trip inspections, you know, and add that as your skill. And so I did that. So basically now I think my resume is perfect. And so yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been sending out resumes left and right. Went as far as assessment. You know, when the company likes your resume, they send you a request for assessment. I did a couple of those, and then the next stage would be an interview or a phone call, but I could not get past the assessment stage. Even though assessment, I did like expert level, because it was all safety related, you know. And then yesterday, Sunday, in the morning, I went for a run, did my 30 minutes jogging, and then drove over to my gun club and shot my Charles Daly 12 gauge shotgun, because I just installed the red dot sight, right? So I used the bore sight little laser here at home to try to bring it close, and then I wanted to go to the gun club and just make sure it hits. It was not hitting, I was correcting, then I came home, I see I was twisting those knobs in the wrong direction. So basically it was a disaster, but I probably did like 25 rounds. And then I went for photography, do some photography in downtown, parked my car, and on Sundays street parking is free in downtown Calgary, but it's super hard to find a spot, you know, because everybody knows about this. And so I just went to that marketplace where I went before. They have a big parking lot in the front, and it's super cheap. It's like $5 for the entire day, so I just paid $5, forget it. And when the plan was to do some street photography, only at the very end I found some girl carrying milk, a bunch of milk products on the street, but there was nothing interesting about that. So instead I posted on Instagram a couple of pictures of some cool buildings. Basically it turned into a architecture shoot, you know. And then all of a sudden the freight broker side of things came alive, you know. And at the end of this week, previous week, and over the weekend, I received a bunch of requests for quotes. Like, first off, a gentleman I worked with before when I was a trucker reached out. So he bought a mechanic's truck, you know, like a, you know, one of those with vices and a small crane, you know. He bought a mechanic's truck in Alberta, and he was asking for a quote to move it to Ontario. So I found a few carriers, sent him a quote, and he sent me the authorization to load at the auction. And I said I need a prepayment, so I sent him my invoice. So now basically, hold on, let me check. Did he reply anything? Nothing. He takes, you know, because he's the boss, he's like the president, so it takes him a while to reply to emails, because I'm guessing he's very busy. But I created my first invoice. You know, I never did this. I was always quoting, but it never went as far as this, you know, where you. So I was researching, you know, invoice forms and stuff like that. So I just decided not to use the TMS, the transportation management software, because I only did some basic training on it, and now I would have to learn again. And so I just went back to my trucking invoices, and I changed the last trucking invoice to my, you know, my new company name. And now that I'm a broker, so I, you know, changed a few things. But basically I used my trucking invoice and created a new one for this gentleman who's shipping this mechanic's truck. And that's it. The next document I have to create is load confirmation, and I have a bunch of notes on. I don't have the form itself, because that would be done through TMS, right? That would be easy. They have a pre-formatted stuff, right? But again, it's just too complicated if I do like 1-2 loads a month, you know. So again, I just looked into my notes, like terms, conditions, you know, and basically all you need is a document showing who the broker is, load number, who the carrier is, load description, right, origin, destination, and then terms and conditions, like what do you want a trucker to do or not to do, right? And so I have a bunch of that, so I'm just gonna maybe in Pages, I was looking here, you know, because I have a Mac, right? And Pages, you know, the app, it's kind of like a Microsoft Office. It has a bunch of very nice templates over here. And so I was thinking I would just, you know, they have books. You can write a book, letters, resumes, flyers, posters, you know, because they already have all the nice typefaces, you know, fonts in them. Certificates, miscellaneous. What's miscellaneous? Invoice, brochure. So I can just use one of the letters, you know, like a contemporary letter, and create the load confirmation based on that, because it has nice little fonts, and it looks like yeah, there's one good looking contemporary letter. Cool. With it already pre-populated the address and my phone number. And then at the top of, yeah, it says from the desk of. But yeah, so something like that, you know. So that's the last thing I need to do, and I confirmed with the carrier that he's okay to load tomorrow. Basically, his driver unloaded something today in Red Deer, and this load picks up in Edmonton. And so the shipper or the customer already sent me the authorization to pick up at the auction, you know, like with the lot number, buyer number, and the driver just need to fill out the second page. Like, you know, I think they want you to put the truck plate number, company number, carrier number, name, stuff like that. So all I need now is the payment. As soon as I get the payment from the shipper, I'll generate that my first load confirmation, and we'll be good to go. So that's one load that's really close to being, you know, in the books, right? And then another one, a guy found me online, and he's moving a small loader, like a baby, kind of like, it's funny, right? I just got my certificate as a loader operator, and this guy is shipping a Komatsu loader, but just, you know, 23 feet long, 9 feet wide, 11 feet tall, about 26,000 pounds, and it's just inside Alberta, from a small town just north of me going to past Edmonton. And he was asking me for quotes. I got him some quotes, but I'm wondering why I didn't write it down, because usually that's what I do, you know, like I use just a regular notebook, because there's so many emails, right? It's hard to keep track of it.
Mandeep Singh.
Hello, Sergei. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the payment. I don't have the payment yet. Okay. So you want me to send you the... So you want me to send you a load confirmation?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. Let me just touch base with the shipper just to make sure that we're doing it, and then I'll send you the load confirmation. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you. See, like the guy's pushing me for the load confirmation. That's the carrier. So I need to check with the. Hold on. Let me just type a quick email here. Yeah, please confirm load is ready to go. So I'll say the carrier wants me to send them a load confirmation. Are we good to go for tomorrow? When can I expect the payment? Send you the invoice in the previous email. Okay. And so yeah, so I forgot to write down the carriers. I think I found somebody. It was like somebody gave me a good rate for this Komatsu. And so I passed the rate to this guy. Basically, he's runs a construction company, and he's moving one of his machines from the current site to a new site, right? And it's only like 185 miles, 300 kilometers. And then as I was doing that street photography yesterday, a guy emails me from Florida saying that he bought an ambulance based on a Ford Econoline chassis, and he bought it in Ontario, and he was trying to move it to Florida for the past month, and he says he was been given like a run around and nobody basically wants to help him. So I said, yeah, I can help you, but I don't do customs or export import. So I gave him some links. I said, these are the customs brokers for the port closest to Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, where this machine is now sitting. And of course, the closest is Alexandria Bay, or 1000 Islands Bridge. So I went to the CBP website. I found all the customs brokers that service that port. sent him a link, and also I sent him a booklet called How to Import a Car into US, because this is the same procedure. And this guy was super thankful, because I'm guessing he couldn't figure out how to do this. And I said, let me just line up some quotes for you, and once you have the paperwork, we can go from there. And he said, okay. And so I have like 4 carriers that give me pricing here, and it's a 1,600-mile trip, you know, from Ottawa, Canada to Fort Lauderdale. What's funny is that the customer does not know dimensions. I'm not sure. He does not know the weight, and I suggested that he contacts the previous owner in Ottawa and just ask him to measure it, because I said that's important, you know. What if it's like it's an ambulance, so it's probably legal, but I don't know how tall it is. At least I have to know the height, because that will affect the price, right? And it'll affect the what kind of trailer you need, right? But probably a step deck. But again, do we need ramps? Like, you know, this guy doesn't know anything. And so it's super difficult, but I still managed to get some quotes. And so yeah, ambulance, mechanic's truck, Komatsu loader, and then the weirdest load. One of my subscribers sent me a request. Somebody has a big machine, like a forestry machine, you know, like a Tiger Cat, somewhere in British Columbia on the island. And it's going all the way down to California. So first off, you need to deal with ferries, and it's oversized load. So ferries are very expensive there between Victoria and BC mainland. And then you're going into California, where nobody wants to go nowadays, right? So it's going to be super expensive trip. And until now, I only had one guy reach out and just ask me, is it still available? But basically, I have very little interest in this load because of the geographic, you know, restrictions, right? Like California is bad, and then Victoria is super expensive to get out of. So that's what's happening. So hopefully I'll keep at it. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have my first pickup as an independent broker. So what I have to do now is just create a load confirmation. So once the customer confirms that this mechanic's truck is ready to go, I'll send the load confirmation to the carrier. So I trust this guy, since I know he's honest. So even if he doesn't pay me right now, I'll just insist that he pays me before delivery, you know. Yeah, as long as he pays me before delivery, I'm okay, because I promised the carrier that I will pay him once the truck is delivered, and he sends me you know, his invoice, clearly signed bill of lading with no damage, and a copy of the load confirmation. So yeah, lots of things going on. But and the other thing is, the last frustrating thing is that accordion, right? So I sent out my Dino Buffetti, so it's now somewhere on the plane to Ukraine, which was tricky because neither Canada Post, nor FedEx, nor DHL, nor UPS shipped to Ukraine right now. So I had to use a Ukrainian private company that has an office here. It was not too bad, but the guy didn't want to pay me up front. So now I hope this guy does not throw me under the bus and pays me once he receives the accordion. But while I'm waiting, I went online and I visited a store in Toronto, and I bought an accordion, and just to boast a little bit, I sent a picture to a guy I know in Victoria, BC, who sells and buys and sells accordions. And because I was asking him again, I said I want to buy something for around $1,000, you know, like a used accordion. And I sent him this picture. I said, okay, that's it. I bought this for $1,900. And he said, ouch, that's a 70-year-old accordion. I'm like, what? So I Googled online that particular make and model, and it turns out they were made between 1958 and 1960. So basically it's older than me, and I'm 61. And so, and then the accordion store where I placed this order emails me and he says, the buttons are a bit squeaky on the base there. He says, I also saw that you were interested in this other one, which is cheaper. Would you like to change your order? And I said, yeah, if you can give me that one for like, you know, $300 off, I'll take that one. Like there was a smaller one and they priced it at $1,800. I said, I'll give you $1,500. And the guy said, okay. And so he says, we'll give you a refund of $420. All right. And so I keep checking my Visa online. I see the payment I made. It was like 2,000, you know, after tax and shipping, $2,000 Canadian. And then instead of a refund, today I see another charge of $420. Well, he promised me a refund of $420. Instead, they did another charge, right? So I sent him kind of like an angry email. I said, hey, you made a mistake, so now you owe me $840, right? Because you have to reverse this charge and gave me the $420 you promised me, right? And the guy says, oh, we did all this through Shopify. I'm guessing they have a website on Shopify, like how the transactions are done. But anyway, so as of this moment, I'm out of $840. And I keep checking the Visa, so I hope these guys don't throw me under the bus. But it's a big store. You know, they're pretty popular in Canada. They ship all over the world. And they have a bunch of, you know, used accordions. But it's just frustrating how, you know, the guy said, yeah, we're going to give you a refund. And they sent me an email on Saturday. They said, we issued a refund. And so that's when I started checking, like, I don't see any refunds. And then Monday, today, I see there's another charge for $420. Like, unbelievable. So it's, you know, all this technology, right? It gets very complicated. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the carrier who gave me a good rate for this Komatsu inside Alberta, because I don't have nothing. If the guy says, yeah, we're good to go for Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe for Wednesday, since now it's already 12 o'clock, I don't have the carrier written down, so I have to go on look through my email message list. And then, of course, I can start working on the load confirmation for the service truck, because the guy's ready to go for tomorrow. Thanks for watching.